Now you look at Africa, how would an enemy destroy Africa? By dividing the countries, by dividing the tribes, the people, so that they're gonna fight each other. Because when they fight each other,
Yeah.
it's easy to be taken advantage of. So perhaps until Africa have a unified language, you can each have your own dialect. Just like China has the Chinese dialect, they have a Yunnan dialect, they have Cantonese, they have different dialect, and it's fine, but they had a unified language, and that took sacrifice.
Peace in Pan Africanism, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Paseta YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in and allowing us to speak to you one more time. I think this message is very important for all of us who are supporting the vision of Paseta and the mission that we are currently on the ground trying to achieve. I want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching and leaving a like. Thank you so much for hitting that bell icon, and also for leaving your thoughts on the comment section on some of the videos that we are doing. We really appreciate the love that you guys are giving us. You have heard the gentleman from China. The only way the enemy can divide us, it is to make sure that African countries remain at the number 54 plus. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, China is speaking from experience. China right now has a population higher than Africa. I don't believe that, but I think that's what the statistics are telling us, that they have 1.4, 1.5 billion people, and Africa has got 1.3 billion people. So they are speaking from experience in terms of unifying people with a different dialect. That is the vision that we have for Africa as Paseta, to say we need to speak one language. The language that was adopted by the African Union is Kiswahili. Why Kiswahili? It is the black language that is most spoken by African people in most countries, and it does not belong to a single tribe. That's the only unique thing about Kiswahili. Kenya cannot claim Kiswahili. Uganda cannot claim Kiswahili. Tanzania cannot claim Kiswahili. Nobody can say Kiswahili is ours and say no other tribe can speak Kiswahili because we know it better. It is spoken differently here and there, but mostly that is the language that is mostly spoken by Africans, and that is why Paseta itself has adopted Kiswahili as its official language, ladies and gentlemen. So 54 countries plus in a continent that has got 1.3 billion people is a mistake that African leaders need to correct. We don't know what is it that they are talking in the African Union for so long, because when you share this vision of Africa uniting behind one language, the majority of the countries in Africa agree on that. Of course, the ones in the north, the Arab countries will have some resistance to it, but in general, the black countries, if I can call them that way, agree that Kiswahili is the language that we can all speak and we can all learn so that we can trade on it. Remember, when we go to school, whether we are in Mozambique as different tribes in Mozambique, and we are all learning Portuguese. When we meet in the streets, we speak to each other in Portuguese, and it eliminates the discrimination between my tribe and your tribe. Everyone is now on this even playing level because I understand Portuguese, you understand Portuguese. There's no need for me to learn your language so that me and you can have that discrimination and pushing against each other as Africans. As you know, that tribalism is a big problem in Africa. The same goes in the Spanish-speaking countries. The same goes in the English-speaking countries. We both speak English, so when we meet as fellow Africans, when we speak in English, we understand each other perfectly. And that is why Kiswahili is very important, so that the future generations can speak this language that is unifying Africans, and they cannot in first contact with each other. There is no discrimination of saying I am Zulu and you are Igbo or something like that. So that becomes a by the way thing. After we are speaking Kiswahili, and then I ask you, by the way, from which tribe are you from? You said, no, I'm Tonga from South Africa. I'm Tswana from Botswana. Then that also becomes a non-issue because we are both communicating in a language that we understand. So I like what he says at the end. He says, it takes a lot of sacrifice, and that is what Paseta is here for. We are planting that sacrifice seed in our generation. We are hoping that the next generation will also continue because we are hoping that the next generation will start in a better footing. The problem with this current generation is that we are fighting minds that have already been made up. They have made up their minds that they don't like that tribe, because that's what they were taught in the schooling system. The education system is the one that has taught us to think that this tribe is better than that tribe. And when we go in the communities, you find that we carry what we have been taught at school into the communities. That is the problem that we are currently having right now in this generation. But Paseta said, no, let's build a school. Let's build schools in the entire African continent that will breed a new form of an African child, if you can understand what I'm saying. And so this African child will grow up learning Kiswahili and learning other African languages as well. But when it comes to business, when it comes to education, when it comes to politics, then the universal language then becomes Kiswahili. Ladies and gentlemen, it will take sacrifice and it will take time. But if we don't start, it never gets done. Nobody does it. Nobody does it. So we, as the generation of Paseta, we are saying we are starting right now. We have launched Paseta in South Africa. You guys were with us on the 2nd of May in 2025. It was a beautiful day. It was an excellent day. We saw people coming from Lesotho, Namibia, South Africa, from all different provinces. Actually, there wasn't a province that was not in attendance on the gala dinner. And we saw the love that Africans have for each other when they meet. So we said we're going to do the same in Namibia. So on the 2nd of May, which is I believe 6 weeks from now, we'll be hosting the gala dinner launch of Paseta in Namibia. This is very important, ladies and gentlemen. So what do we need? We need a lot of money for the accommodation, for the people that will be traveling, for the venue. We need to sell tickets. We need to make sure that we cover the transport costs for the royal family that is coming, because they were kind enough to say, okay, here's our land, present to us what is it that you want to do so that we can talk business. And we are very grateful for that. And you guys will get to know more about the land where we are building Paseta in Namibia. Very beautiful land, if I can say so myself. So we are saying, assist us. Send a contribution of 50 Rand, send a contribution of 200 Rand, 1,000 Rand, whatever it is that you want to do. Our main focus right now, going forward up until the gala dinner, is the issue of hosting a successful gala dinner in Namibia, because the Namibian child cannot wait for the South African child to get Paseta first. Paseta must be built simultaneously so that there isn't a generation that falls behind. If we can open Paseta schools in 1 year, in 2029 or 20 whatever, at the same time we open at least 3 Paseta schools in 3 different countries, that will be a major success for us, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it. One language is important. If a family speaks in different languages, then there becomes a division in that family, because everyone is pointing at different directions, and that family can never be unified. And that family is the black family. The African family needs to be uniting behind one language, so that everything can, they can be sinking in the things that we are doing. In terms of politics, in terms of economics, everything must just sink nicely, because of we are speaking in one language. and that language is Kiswahili, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe you didn't know why we chose Kiswahili. This is the reason. It's because we want the future generation not to discriminate each other according to tribes, according to township, villages, and all of those things. But once they come and speak one language, they can understand each other, and the discrimination and the racism can take a back seat, because our children will be united. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for giving me an ear. Please go in the comment section. Tell me, does this thing of one language for Africa, do you think it will work? Do you think it's a dream? Maybe it will not happen. But why is it that the Chinese got it right with different dialects in their country with 1.5 billion people, but Africa can't do it with 1.3 billion people? Give us your thoughts on the comment section. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I hole paseta.